Look, scaling to 100K per month with paid ads isn't that hard. I went from 10K per month to over 100K per month, and I did that in 11 months with paid ads. Now, in this video, I'm gonna show you how to do it faster than 95% of marketers. So if you're watching this and you're in that 20 to 75 per month range, or maybe you haven't hit that first 100K month from paid advertising, it's not your offer, it's not your funnel, and it's definitely not your budget. I'm gonna break down all the 3 bottlenecks that I see most common and exactly what you need to do to scale to that 100K per month. Now, by no means is this an income claim. I don't know you, but I will say this. I've helped over 100 businesses get past 100K per month. Some even get to 8 and 9 figures. I'm just telling you exactly what works and exactly what I do if I was to take over an account. So let's dive right in. The first thing you always need to do is bottleneck analysis. There's 3 major bottlenecks. Bottleneck number 1 is the tracking. Now, what most businesses doing is they're looking at the wrong metrics. These are cost per lead, CTRs, cost per click, CPMs. Now, don't get me wrong. All of these can be indicative of other issues or constraints that might be happening in the marketing, but these aren't the sole source of truth. Because to be honest, I don't care what these are if I'm making money. If I put in $1 and I get $5 out, I'm going to put in more dollars. I'm not going to get caught up with the fact that my cost per lead is more than I would expect it to be. So they're looking at the wrong metrics. They're tracking the wrong metrics. So that's the first thing that they're tracking that's wrong. Oftentimes, they don't even have UTM set up. So UTM, it's a little bit of a piece of a code that goes on the end of a website URL. If you go to Google and search something, click on one of the sponsored ads and you'll see some like UTM. That tracks where the ad came from. So they're not tracking what individual ads are driving the results. They're just setting up campaigns, making completely random guesses out of it. By not doing this, what happens is they end up killing winners. They're really just guessing at their marketing. This is one of the most common bottlenecks that I solve for. I'll go into the campaigns and I'll see all these winning ads that I'm taking over that they killed these ads. So you want to make sure that you have, the proper tracking things in place, from tracking the right metrics to the right actual tracking and attribution. We like to rely on a third party. Hyros is great, Triple Whale, Wicked, any of the big ones, any third party, because the ads manager is oftentimes very inaccurate. It's wildly inaccurate. So you can't make decisions based off the ads manager. And if you are making decisions off the ads manager, that's probably why you're not hitting 100K month yet. Then you got to go to the CRM, and you're going to see the CRM might say something different than the ads manager. So we always like that third point of reference, which is going to be a third party attribution software. A lot of these are going to be very accurate and they're going to be great for tracking your overall ROAS. And without this, this is vital, because again, this is what is going to allow you to make informed decisions. My buddy, he's got an agency. I looked at one of his campaigns and they make hundreds of thousands of dollars per month for their agency, but they didn't know how to scale their own ads and they couldn't scale more profitably. So what they were doing is they were cutting all these winning ads because they were making decisions in the ads manager. They didn't have UTM set up and they were basing it purely off of cost per lead. So for example, they might have 2 ads running, one of them with an $80 cost per lead, one of them with $120 cost per lead. And they would cut that $120 one, but that doesn't tell you anything other than the cost per lead. If that $120 lead is paying me $10,000, man, I'd spend $200 on a lead. I'd spend more money. So again, those are all secondary measures. The bottleneck number 2 is going to be the campaign structure. So generally what I see going on is they'll have 5 to 10 campaigns, sometimes even more, which is kind of crazy, competing with each other. And what that's doing is it's hyperinflating the costs. I took over an account. They're a B2B device company. They literally had 1 ad per campaign, and there was 12 campaigns running. Some of them were spending $1 a day. I'm like, what the what is going on here? So the structure is wrong. They were just wasting all this money. I don't even know who taught them how to do their ads or what video they saw. But a lot of people aren't doing the things that they claim. They might have had success way early on. They scaled their agency, back in 2018. Well, a lot's changed since then. The algorithm has completely changed. Andromeda has happened, which is all about consolidation. So you need to consolidate those campaigns. You need to let the AI determine which which ad to place it in front of. So 5 to 10 campaigns competing. What that does, now you're competing against yourself. You want the campaigns to be based around the client that you're trying to attract. If it's the same person you're going after, consolidate those. It's going to make your life as a media buyer and advertiser much easier. It's also going to have a much better time for you because you're not competing, which is inflating your costs. Oftentimes when we do consolidate, it results in about 50% or more cost savings. So we'll literally cut the cost, like assuming we're spending like $300 on a qualified call, I'll go into the campaign, I'll see that they have all these different calls that they're, or campaigns that they're running all for the same event, for the same person. Just by consolidating that, I can cut those campaign costs on that same call, same calendar, same everything down to like $150, sometimes even more just by consolidating things. And bottleneck number 3 is going to be creative diversity. So a lot of business owners, and these are even, again, agency owners, they got trained, write this one ad, have some crazy offer. And even like your offer, think of it like if it's not even just like some crazy gimmicky offer, let's just say like you have a legit offer. Hey, if you're a plastic surgeon, need high quality content, I run a video marketing agency, I come directly to you, film, I'll script everything for you. And the best thing, you don't have to do any of the editing. All you have to do is show up for 1 hour of your time per week. I'm going to film everything, edit it, and post it for you. I'll even run your ads for you. That would be an example of a direct response ad. Well, guess what? That's a very bottom of funnel ad. I would highly recommend you starting with an ad like that if you have a very small budget, but you're going to want creative diversification because there's only so many people in market. Well, what about all the plastic surgeons that might not be looking for something right now? Well, how do we get them on our radar? And how do we convert them when they are ready? So creative diversification, you're going to need about 15 to 25 diverse ads. This is going to be diverse in the messaging. This is going to be diverse in the creative itself. So you're going to want a blend of some static, some talking head ads, some podcast clips, all these different types of content. And you want to go from different levels of awareness, diverse in the levels of awareness. And then when you have all of these, what you're going to see is they're not all going to get the same spend. Just because one's only getting $10 a spend versus the one that's got thousands of dollars of spend doesn't mean you need to cut that one. It's still being used, but it's only being used for $10. So what we see is now by consolidating and having the creative diversification, we're able to attract everybody who's on the horizon. And what Andromeda does is it's now getting that cycle of ads. One person is going to go through ad A, and then they're going to go to ad C, and then they're going to go to ad D, and then they're going to convert with your bottom of funnel, that very direct response ad. And that might be, a level 3 sophisticated user. So Andromeda is going to know where they're at in their level of sophistication, and based off of where they're at, it's going to show them the ad that is most likely to take them to that next level. To get this, very simple, all you need to do is think of all the reasons somebody would buy, and those are great hooks. So if you ran a creative agency, it's like, we do all the editing for you. Tired of dealing with editors that are slow? We are a creative agency. Not only will we come out and film it, right? So now you hit them on the pains that they experience. Are you tired of pulling out your iPhone and filming your content yourself? We're a creative agency. We'll come straight to your clinic. We'll come straight to your office, whatever it is. Are you actively engaging on social media? You know you need to have a presence, but you're tired of coming up with the scripts and the creative strategy yourself. I'm Daniel Walton. I run a creative agency. Boom. That's 3 different reasons right off of no thinking at all. Just straight to mind what I would think of if I was running a creative agency. How would I run ads that are going to attract those people? Now, why does that work? Because you have to understand what this is about. The platform cares about one thing, user experience. So you need to get a good user experience. If you have one ad that you keep running and you just expect this to go on and on, they're going to show it way to the back. That's why your costs jump up. Your CPMs are through the roof because they're not going to just keep hammering all these people with this one ad. You need this diversification. Now they're going to hit the person with the ad. Well, guess what? People don't convert. 98% of people that see your ad aren't even going to click on it. And that's a good click-through rate. That's at a 2% click-through rate. That doesn't even mean how many people converted. That's just clicking it. Knowing that, you have to just constantly cycle all these different reasons to keep your content favorable. The algorithm wants to show good content and wants to create a good user experience. So for you, if you want to have a good user experience and you want to be rewarded, which is lowering your CPMs, lowering your costs, that's how you go viral as an advertiser. Well, the same way that you go viral in short form is you have good engaging content. Guess what? You get rewarded, it gets shown to more people. When you have good engaging ads and a diversity of ads, so they don't just have to keep hammering the lead with one ad, guess what happens? They lower your costs and allow you to be seen to more people. And now they're just constantly cycling. People like literally, like I have like 60 ads in some campaigns running. They're like, I see you everywhere. I'm like, good. I don't want you to ever forget who I am. That's how advertising needs to be done. So that's what creative diversification means. And if you want my team to launch your ads, build out your CRM, build out your funnel, and even write winning ads for you, just like I did, you saw very quickly, we'll even train you on how to run the entire ad system so that you're free of agency dependency. And the best part of any of my programs is you get to work one-on-one with me. So we have a couple different options. We have it done for you. I'm going to write all the ads. My team's going to edit it. We're going to launch all the ads. We'll use our graphic designers, everything. We're going to set you up for success. We launch the campaigns and hand it over to you. You get to work one-on-one with me. You get to go directly to my team of strategists, all my top digital strategists who have spent millions on these platforms, are tech people. Any question that you have, what do I do with this automation? Is my funnel and landing page converting? What do I do in Facebook ads? What do I do on Google ads? All of that, you get to go directly to my team and ask them questions. I also provide a weekly group coaching call. Whatever the biggest problems of my group are, I'm going to solve those just like this, except it's going to be a complete masterclass. And then you get one-on-one mentorship with me and 24/7 access to me. Any question you have, think of a question that you have right now about your ads. I can answer that. You can fire it off to me in Telegram and I will send you a direct answer to exactly that. So knock out the application below. You also get access to my AI employees. So we write VSLs, ad scripts, everything that you can imagine to convert your audience better and speak more directly to your audience. It's been trained on all of my strategies, all of my systems, and you get access to that. So knock out the application below. Now, aside from the 3 bottlenecks, that's really just the start. The framework that we use to help our clients scale to 100K months and beyond, it's really broken down into 4 pillars. So I want to cover that. And before you spend another dollar on ads, you really need to dial in your funnel. So that's going to be pillar number 1 to dialing things in, is optimizing the funnel. So a lot of people, they don't ever think to test their landing page. The load time is so important. Go type in landing page speed test. There's one by Google. Put in your URL and see what the score is. Go high level. Landing page load times are notoriously slow and trash. Now, I use Go High Level. I love Go High Level, but there's a lot that you have to do on the back end, from setting up the DNS records a certain way, from the hosting. And we do all of this for our clients. We get our landing pages to be very fast, faster than ClickFunnels, faster than most landing pages, but it does take a lot of back end work. So you need to make sure, first things first, your landing page load time is fast. If it doesn't load fast enough, you're fucked. People are going to click, it's going to load, and guess what happens? They opt out. And Facebook's looking at this stuff too. So if people are clicking and it's not loading and it's not responding, guess what? They say this is a bad user experience. So what do? They punish you. Additionally, people will build these funnels and then they don't even look at what they look like on mobile. So you need to optimize for mobile. 70% of traffic, sometimes even higher, is done on mobile. Meaning if 10 people went to your website, 7 of them are going on mobile. And most people are looking, you work on their computer, it's more efficient. So they never actually look what it looks like on mobile. And you can't just rely on the funnel builder mobile view. You have to go open up a private browser, put in your URL, go look at it on your landing page, and you have to really dial that in. Now we've optimized it. The speed time's good. It's good for mobile. Now we have to run split tests. What I like to test first is the headline, then the sub headline. These are going to do 90% of the lifting on the landing page. So once somebody clicks, the ad does 90% of the work. Then what does the other 10%? Well, that's going to be on the landing page. 90% of the landing page performance is going to come from the headline and sub headline. So you need a good call out. You need a good offer. You need to articulate it in a good way. And then from there, the VSL. Now we have an AI employee that writes VSLs. These are high converting VSLs that constantly see like 20 to 30% engagement rates. We need a 20% engagement rate or higher for our VSLs. That's where we're saying people are clicking and they're staying through to the end. That means 1 out of 5 people that watched, they watched through and they're engaging. You get somebody to watch a VSL, spend 5, 10, 20 minutes with you. Do you think that person's more likely to convert? Yeah, absolutely. Pillar number 2 to success is building a killer sales team. If you are a service provider and you don't run asynchronous type checkouts like a telehealth company or an e-commerce business, you are a sales and a marketing organization. Doesn't matter if you're a clinic, if you're a surgeon, if you create content. A lot of people think, oh, sales is bad. It's like, no, it's not. If sales is actually really good, because if you believe that your service is so good, that you provide better value, that or better than everybody. It should be your personal responsibility to make sure that everybody who's interested in that service goes to you and not your competition. Like, that's how passionate I am, because I know how shitty a lot of the other marketers and agencies are out there, that I want to make sure, hey, look, you're going to get if you go with somebody else. I have to make sure that you sign up with me, because if you don't, you're going to call me in 6 months and you're going to be like, Daniel, I haven't grown and I've lost $60,000 between agency fees and marketing costs and ad costs. So if you're good and you know you're good, it's very important to get out of that mindset that sales is bad and I don't want to be a salesperson. Bad salespeople sound like salespeople. Bad marketing looks like marketing. So you have to reframe yourself from that. Build a killer sales team. It's the most valuable investment that you can make. Most business owners, they really overestimate their ability to sell. Theirs and their sales teams. They think they're good, but they've never actually converted marketing leads. They actually don't have any data. They're not even tracking any of their, KPIs, from their speed to lead, to their conversation rate per lead, to their conversion rate per lead, to their booking rates per lead, to their booking to closes, their booking to offers made. So they're just completely guessing. If you're not tracking that, you actually don't know the performance of your team. You actually can't say that you have a good or bad sales team because you're not tracking anything. You're just guessing. That's like me launching ads and saying, oh yeah, our ads are good. Well, how much money are you making from it? Well, I don't know. Well, how do you know they're good? Well, I just know. So you mean you're not tracking the performance of it in any capacity? That's exactly what these business owners think that don't track their KPIs on their sales teams. So they overestimate not only their sales team's ability, but their own ability. You need to hire somebody with a proven track record, converting marketing leads. I abbreviated that. If they haven't converted marketing leads before, especially paid ads, I would run very far from them. If they haven't done it for 2 to 3 years, I wouldn't even consider them. It's so important because there's a certain process. People are highly skeptical buying over the internet. People are highly skeptical buying over the phone. That person has to be trained in being able to have a conversation with them, not trying to sell them, a conversation about what do they want. A good salesperson is going to turn deals away because they know if I sell this person, it's not the right outcome for them. But a good salesperson isn't going to miss any of the opportunities that are right for you and right for the business. Now, a good salesperson, you're going to want to have on target earnings OTE of 10K or more. You can find mid-level talent for like 5K to 7K. But even like a $3,000 to $5,000 salesperson is going to do better than somebody that isn't a trained salesperson. Sales is a skill. Could you imagine hiring a bartender to run your ads? I've literally had business owners be like,
oh, Daniel, don't worry. I'll scale up the sales team. I know a guy, he's a bartender. He can come in and close leads.
Oh, really? Because he knows how to pour alcohol. He knows how to convert marketing leads. He's done these training programs. He understands discovery. He understands how to build pain. He understands how to overcome objections because he knows how to mix cocktails. Like, this is literally how business owners think about it.
Well, they know how to talk better than me, so I'm going to put that in.
It's like, no, make sure they are trained in the skill that you're hiring. I would never fucking hire somebody that wasn't good at creating content to create content for me. That's like fucking retarded. Why do people do this for sales? I'm going to hire somebody who has no sales experience, who's never been trained converting marketing leads, and I'm going to let them convert my marketing leads. And then I'm going to go to the marketing department and say, you guys suck. Why aren't you doing your job good enough? Well, let's look at the sales data.
Oh, well, I'm actually not tracking any of it.
But it's still your fault. That's literally what happens with these business owners. They're gaslighting themselves to think that they don't have any issues and they've done everything. And then it's like, well, let's look at the sales process. So hire a killer salesperson. Like, any penny you put toward a good salesperson, you're going to get 2 to 10 pennies back. Any dollar you put in, you're going to get $2 to $10 back. They are going to pay for themselves, or they're going to be out if there's not enough money for them to make. So a good salesperson is worth its weight in gold. Pillar number 3, we discussed this already a little bit, and this is going to be data-driven decisions. So again, all of these metrics that we were talking about up here, all of these are secondary. All we care about is revenue or return on ad spend. If I put in $10,000 into ads, did I make 10,000 back? Did I make 20,000 back? Did I make 100,000 back? Did I make 5,000 back. That is my return on ad spend. That's how much revenue was generated from my advertising campaigns. So this is the only number that matters. When it's not where it needs to be is when we diagnose the other numbers. That's when we start to look in our cost per lead. That's when we start to look at our cost per qualified booked call. When we start to look at our CTRs, when we start to look at our CPMs, right? These are all secondary numbers. I'm not looking at these unless this number is not right. If my ROAS isn't right, then now let's look at these other leading indicators of why this is happening. Aside from the return on ad spend, you have to make sure you're also looking at the data when it comes to the ad performance, right? What I've seen, and this I see a lot, you'd be surprised how many agency owners, they're running these. This is like an old strategy. I went through all the coaching programs. I know those coaches out there, not trying to knock them. I think they taught a lot of agency owners the fundamentals of scaling their agency, but they didn't teach them shit about marketing, and they're not very sophisticated marketers. They'll tell them, like, you know, they'll look at one campaign, you know, they're going to essentially cut the winners is what's happening. But what they'll do, what that looks like is they'll have, you know, ad number 1 here, and then they'll have ad number 2, and then this one is getting an $80 cost per lead, and this one is getting $120 cost per lead. And so these guys are like, oh, well, I'm gonna cut this one because it's cheaper. The other one is cheaper. I'm going to get more leads. Well, at the end of the day, in theory, that sounds great. But again, you're looking at the wrong measure of success. So we actually made the money from this one. This was the winner. We need to cut this losing ad because this was not driving any sales. It's getting a lot of people to sign up, but these people aren't interested. These aren't my ideal client. They don't spend as much money. They don't stay with us as long. So you have to look at the data. That's where it's important to have the UTM set up. You need to track every single lead that's coming in. What ad did they click on? Well, who bought? How much money did they spend? How long did they stay with us? Let's look at that. What's our best customers and go back and see what are the ads that they clicked on. And then pillar number 4 is scaling with confidence. So you need to track the right KPIs. For us, cost per lead, cost per qualified lead. Generally, if we're going like B2C, we want to be in the like $10 to $40 range. We'll say B2C. And then B2B, generally it's going to be like $50 to $80. And it's going to be B2B. Cost per qualified booked call. Generally, we're seeing about $150. And that's going to be for a very qualified call, somebody who's like ready to convert. B2C is going to be less. High ticket is going to be right around this. So these are some of the KPIs that we want to be tracking and monitoring. And once we get it dialed in and we say, okay, we're profitable, we spent $10,000, we made $40,000, that's good. Our cost per qualified call is $150, or our cost per qualified lead is $50. Now we want to increase the spend. Now we want to track those KPIs and we want to make sure that those aren't getting far off. There will be days that they jump up and down. There will be some days they're way up and you get no leads and no booked appointments. You don't need to freak out. Look at the last 3 days. Look at the last 7 days. Those are really the measures of where you're actually at, because there are fluctuations. So track the KPIs. Then as you scale at 20% per day, because if you scale more than this, what happens is you're going to throw off your campaign. Now, the algorithm's gotten so good. Your messaging, if it's good, doesn't mean it's not going to work and you're like not going to be able to make money. No, but you might have had that winning campaign that's just like really locked in on those people, and you can fuck that up and it might increase your costs pretty significantly by scaling more than 20% a day. So we like to scale at 20% a day. Some people go as high as 30%. There are times when you can go much higher, but it's a more risk and it's more of a gamble. And now that you know that hitting 100K per month is actually achievable with paid ads, you need to learn the complete system that actually makes this possible. And there's a framework that I've used on over 100 of my clients to take them from 5 figures and helping them scale to over 6 figures per month. So I want you to check out this video where I break down the entire framework and my complete paid ads guide. I'm going to show you how to implement every piece. I'm going to show you exactly how to implement every single step of it to guarantee that you get to that 100K per month milestone that you're on track to hit.